according to the American Psychological Association, we are facing a national mental health crisis that could yield serious health and social consequences for years to come. What is this crisis? Stress. The API did a study of stress in America in 2020 and found significant stressors to be anywhere from COVID-19 to education. When interviewing college students, they found that 87% said that their education was a significant source of stress. Now, stress isn't the only thing that is harming our mental health, but also anxiety and depression. The MHA, Mental Health America, also did a study of America's mental health in 2020, and they found that less than a year ago, both anxiety and depression were at a nationwide ultimate high, and according to their data, more than 500,000 people reported signs of anxiety and or depression. Anxiety screens were up by 637%, and depression screens up 873%. All of this is a huge problem, but unfortunately, MHA has found that overall 57% of adults and 60% of youth with mental health illness and depression do not receive any treatment. Now, most probable is that they don't have the resources to even get treatment. But luckily, there is a solution that doesn't require any outside medical help or even insurance for that matter, and that's self-care. What is self-care? Well, the simplest definition is in the name itself. Self-care is caring for yourself. It has been shown to reduce symptoms of depression, anxiety, reduce levels of stress, and improve physical and mental health. A 2020 survey study was done with social workers by Melissa Shepard and Jason Newell to show the correlation between secondary traumatic stress, STS, and self-care. What they found was self-care was correlated positively with a number of physical and mental health indicators, such that greater self-care practices was associated with better health outcomes. So now we see why self-care is recommended. However, I dare to suggest it's not just recommended, but is vitally important. The American philosophers best known for their work in medical ethics, Beauchamp and Childress, defined self-care in their 1985 book, Principles of Biomedical Ethics. And they defined it as providing adequate attention to one's physical and psychological wellness. This definition, providing adequate attention, is stating that not partaking in self-care is an inadequacy of your own physical and psychological wellness. So this changes self-care from being something that's recommended to being vitally important to our well-being. So how do we partake in self-care? Well, it's quite easy. Here's some common strategies recommended by the PhD Elizabeth Scott and the National Institute of Mental Health. You can go for a walk, get a massage, just pamper yourself in general, take a bath, schedule social time, get regular exercise, eat healthy, stay hydrated, do a relaxing activity, whatever that means for you. Mindfulness, focus on positivity, and practice gratitude. In the earlier mentioned survey, study by Shepard and Newell, they concluded it appears that different forms of self-care provide different benefits. Therefore, engaging in only one form of self-care may not be as beneficial than engaging in multiple forms of self-care. So find what works for you and practice them daily. It is also extremely important to mention that a lot of typical self-care practices can actually have the opposite effect on some of those adults dealing with anxiety disorders. So according to California therapist Melinda Haynes, taking time to administer a healthy dose of self-care can trigger feelings of guilt or stir up unresolved feelings related to self-worth. Now, this doesn't mean that self-care doesn't work for everyone, but it just means that not everyone's proper self-care will look the same for everyone. My version of daily self-care to combat depression and stress is to wake up early and make my bed first thing. This may seem like a chore to some people, but because it is for my betterment, it's one of my self-care practices. And this leads to my final point, that routine is important when it comes to self-care. Once you find what it is that helps you most, reduce the stress of finding time to partake in self-care by creating a routine where self-care is already included. According to Ramon Solka, MD, at the Jersey Shore University Medical Center, routines can create a positive level of stress that keeps us focused and may avoid some depression. Hackensack Meridian Health states these following reasons as to why routine is important. They create structure, give us a sense of accomplishment, They let us know how we are doing, and finally, they let others know how we are doing. So, in a wildly busy and hectic society, everyone can benefit from practicing a personalized routine of self-care that has been clinically proven to reduce or eliminate depression and anxiety while improving energy and overall happiness. And I believe that, together, we can build a more mental health conscious society that focuses on this betterment of everyone's individual mental and physical health. As Ed Sheeran said in his 2017 song, Save Myself, before I save someone else, I've got to save myself. And before I can love someone else, I've got to love myself. The betterment of our future society starts with you.